We're here in front of the Mob Museum, or the National Museum of Organized Crime and Law Enforcement. Hi! Today we're gonna check out the exhibits at the Mob Museum. We're also gonna do the Speakeasy, and then we're gonna do an overall honest review of the Mob Museum and see if it's worth it. And off we go!
Perfect.
And that's going to be on the right side past the fish tank. This is going to be for you. I will put that on your wristband, okay?
Oh, wristband.
So you're going to start on the third floor and just work your way down. Because we asked for, you can take as many pictures, just no video, okay?
Okay. From 1892 to 1924, more than 20 million people entered America through Ellis Island. Many immigrants were forced to live in rickety tenement housing, with as many as 12 adults sleeping in a room 13 feet across. The jobs they could get offered low pay and often dangerous condition, earning $1 or $2 per day. Despite the hardships they faced, most immigrants did not return to their homelands. They worked hard and eventually improved their lot. But beneath the surface of ethnic communities, a criminal underworld thrived. Teenagers formed gangs to commit petty crimes and protect themselves from rivals. Small-time hoods graduated to working for the mob. The mob gained a foothold in America's cities at a time when police departments were still in their infancy. Officers received little training and low pay. During the first 2 decades of the 20th century, the Black Hand menaced American communities with kidnappings, bombings, and murders. Meanwhile, other organized crime groups emerged to make money through robbery, counterfeiting, loan sharking, gambling, and prostitution. The rough streets of America's cities taught harsh lessons to the boys who would become the century's most notorious mobsters, including Lucky Luciano, Mayor Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, and Al Capone. What were the odds? A city sprouts in the desert and becomes a global capital of adult entertainment and extravagance, a place where anything seems possible. Las Vegas Natural Springs created a stable water source in the unforgiving Mojave Desert. The springs inspired the naming of Las Vegas, which is Spanish for the meadows. In 1844, John Fremont led a surveying and mapping expedition in this area. Fremont, with the help of his wife, contributed to Western emigration. In 1855, Las Vegas is still in Arizona territory. The Las Vegas Land and Water Company auctioned off lots of lots in the town site. Over 2 days, half the lots sold for a total of $265,000. William Clark, who was a self-made multimillionaire, bought some lots from Helen Stewart. He made Las Vegas the halfway division point for the San Pedro, Los Angeles, and Salt Lake Railroad. Block 16 was designated as the town's vice district, where saloons, casinos, and brothels eventually sprouted. At the stroke of a pen, the 18th Amendment to the Constitution banned the manufacture and sale of alcohol. This divided Americans. Thousands of brewers and bartenders became unemployed or destitute or criminals. The mob seized the opportunity, as they boasted, "Give the people what they want." In Los Angeles, federal agents poured wine down a gutter to the crowd's amusement. Daisy Simpson is one of just a dozen women who served the Prohibition agents. She busted 8,400 gallons of Napa Valley wine. In 1925, she resigned after the government banned women from serving as field agents. Two of the most famous Prohibition agents were Izzy and Mo. They often dressed in disguise, spoke with accents to catch violators. But their superiors resented the attention they received and fired them in 1925. In the 1920s, the railroad relocated its repair yards to Caliente, Nevada. Between that and the Great Depression, Las Vegas needed more than divorce and gambling to thrive. Boulder Canyon Project Act, which authorized development of what would become Hoover Dam, addressed that problem. Construction on the dam began on April 20, 1931. Employees often were paid in scrip, only accepted at the company store. In 1931, the Nevada's legislature enacted 2 laws designed to attract visitors. The legislature shortened the residency period needed to obtain a divorce to 6 weeks, the shortest of any state. It also legalized wide-open gambling. Also in 1931, brothers of California rum runner Tony Cornero opened the Meadows Club at Fremont Street. The first legal casino operator is Stocker. They received the first gaming license in Las Vegas for the Northern Club on Fremont Street. The deadliest mob hit in American history happened on a chilly winter morning in a nondescript garage on Chicago's north side. 4 armed men gunned down 7 associates of bootlegger George Bugs Moran, outraged by what came to be known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. This event spurred politicians and law enforcement authorities to get serious about cracking down on organized crime. The notorious Al Capone was both celebrated and feared. To help the unemployed, he set up this soup kitchen in Chicago in 1931. Then the stock market crashes, triggering worst economic crisis in U.S. history. The Prohibition enforcement is not working. In 1932, Democrat Franklin Roosevelt defeats Republican President Herbert Roosevelt. Roosevelt signs bills permitting beer with no more than 3.2% alcohol. In 1933, Utah becomes 36th state to ratify the 21st Amendment, repealing Prohibition. The Sing Sing electric chair in upstate New York was the setting for 614 executions. One high-level mob boss was among them. The chair earned the nickname Old Sparky. The only mob boss ever to receive the death penalty was Lepke. Some racketeers after the World War, like Carlo Gambino, dealt in stolen ration cards. He saw war as a business opportunity. To mobsters, a bet is a bet, whether on horses or ball games. As sports became big business, they wanted in on the action. The 1919 World Series, when Chicago White Sox player took bribes to throw games, was an infamous example. But gambling continues to touch every major sport, from boxing to basketball, from players to referees. The laws are meant to protect us. That means going after bad guys, but it also means giving all citizens their day in court. Fifth Amendment to the Constitution prohibits prosecuting someone twice for the same offense, double jeopardy. The 14th Amendment amplifies those protections, stating, "No state shall make or enforce any laws which shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process." Gambling brought tourism, and tourism was a big deal for Las Vegas, for local entrepreneurs and the mob. Starting in the 1950s, most tourists unknowingly stayed or played in mob-connected casinos. As tourism exploded, mobsters found themselves rubbing elbows with showbiz celebrities. Many mob activities depend on crook dealings, yet casinos are more profitable when they keep the games honest. Cheating can ruin a casino's reputation, scaring away tourists. So operators try to run an orderly business. To learn about Las Vegas during the mob heyday, touch a face to hear a first-person account. Organized crime is a ruthless business. Casino employees suspected of rigging games often were beaten or even killed by the mob. Bodies dumped in the desert as a warning to others. In 1958, the mob suspected Riviera Hotel manager Gus Greenbaum of withholding money. Greenbaum and his wife were both killed in Phoenix by a hitman. The message was clear: don't cheat the mob. In 1967, Howard Hughes added hotel owner to his resume, buying the Desert Inn, so he wouldn't have to leave when his reservation ended. The wealthy eccentric Hughes saw in Las Vegas a town he could dominate and reshape. His purchase of many hotels over time seemed to clean up the town's mob aura. Bugsy Siegel's assurance that we only kill each other was supposedly meant to reassure Del Webb, builder of the Flamingo Hotel. Nobody knows if it helped Webb sleep peacefully. So where do old mobsters go? Well, first, they could die. Everyone dies eventually, right? Or they could be in witness protection. They could also go to prison. Some bosses are forced into exile. Others make deals during World War II, like Charles Lucky Luciano, serving a 30-year sentence. Or some retire. Occasionally, mob bosses who manages to evade the law and their rivals are able to spend their last years quietly. One of them is Joe Bonanno, who stepped down in 1966 and retired in Tucson, Arizona. Traditional mobs may be a shadow of its former self, but there are still organized crime that thrives around the world, such as drug and human trafficking, to counterfeiting and cybercrime. Today's crime groups take advantage of modern technologies.
Been to the top of Mount Everest. I've sailed the 7 seas. I've shared the stage with all the best. Lot of good it did for me. I've walked the wall of China, walked till my feet were sore. Came home to Carolina and found my love next door. Well, what do you know? I didn't have to travel the world. Yeah, what do you know? To find a brown-eyed man for a blue-eyed girl.
What do I think about this mob museum? First of all, it's pretty epic that I'm here in this U.S. Post Office and courthouse in Las Vegas. I learned about the history of the mobs here in the U.S. and how they sprouted. There's still organized crimes here, not only in the U.S. but around the world, and we're still working on how to solve things. I guess it's a never-ending process. What do I think about the Distillery Tour? It's just a repeat of what happened during Prohibition, but more detailed. We get to taste also the alcohol and the differences of each moonshine. My favorite is the vanilla flavor. Would I recommend coming here to downtown and check the Mob Museum or the Speakeasy? I say yes, it's worth it. Even though filming is not allowed inside the Mob Museum, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have comments, suggestions, stories to tell. I love reading them. See you next time, and off I go.
I've sailed the 7 seas. I've shared the stage with all the best. Lot of good it did for me.